Yama, yama, ba 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 ba. Ya ba ba ma 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 ba 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 ba. Ya ba 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 ba. Ya ba 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 ba. Ya ba 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 ba. We're holding in dot. Is that air of L? What are you thinking of during Kol Nidre? What do you think of during Kol Nidre?
What are we starting about? Vows.
What's vows? Talk about sins, this, that. The
Damage that
mouth.
could be done with the mouth. And keep to our word. And pardons. Golden
Okay, go ahead. Chaf Dalid Amid Aleph. Less than one block left to Makkos. Yeah, ba 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 ba.
Yesterday's session, we learned that there are 613 mitzvahs from the Gemara.
I don't chop how people do a blot a day and like I don't get it. It's a lot. No,
What do you mean? Meaning for the Maggid shir or for the person listening?
The Maggid shir, the person listening.
Because I'm usually in the Maggid shir.
No. That you're learning it before.
Okay, so for the people who are there, it's very simple. They want to be kovei the Torah. They want to feel like they're accomplishing something. So they show up. They go to a well-prepared shir. Someone prepared a daf.
It is kovei. It's true.
No, it's someone who spends 2-3 hours preparing it properly. I think it really takes some.
If someone has a tight day,
they prepare it and they go and they listen and they sit there.
If someone has a tight day. And Begisa B'Yom and V'Layla, can they learn an hour and be yite to that 30 minutes before Shki and 30 minutes after? Would that be optimal to capture both?
You gotta realize like this. I started going through the tires of Rabbi Galinsky on Elul. Right? He says a lot of times people ask him. He said, when I was in yeshiva, I felt Elul. It was bubbling.
Yes.
You heard the roar of the lion. I don't know if you ever heard a lion roar. It's a special thing. It's very loud. I heard it.
Soyekari.
I heard it.
What's the word?
Yishakari.
Very loud. Very loud.
So.
From the depths.
So that's Rabbi Galinsky. Many people. What now? I don't feel it. I'm out there in the working world. I'm out in the yeshiva in the Kaisli base and I just, what now? And then we have to realize there's a concept of Agiza B'Yom V'Layla. There are unique individuals, select few, who are capable of doing so. But there's also another Gemara that says if a person just learns, you just learn a little bit, you're doesn't say how much time you have to learn. Doesn't say how much. You know, there's different levels of tapping into Allah.
My uncle Mech Cohn says about Tisha B'Av. Says Tisha B'Av, if you're in the city, is not someone who went to camp, sleepaway camp, their whole life. Tisha B'Av takes on a new meaning in that it's an environment, it's the emotions surrounding it.
So it's the same thing, you know. Everyone could up their game a little bit. Everyone could accept something else. Could do something more than they're used to.
Take on a little more. Nothing, not too much.
Whatever it is. Everyone at
There's
their
so
many things to work on. Maybe focus a little bit more when we dive in, put meaning into it. Maybe be nicer to our spouse, to our children, to family members, extended family, friends. Maybe learn a little more Torah activation.
Give a little more tzedakah.
Yeah, do a little more mitzvahs. Maybe we want to diversify our stuff a different way. Maybe we want to channel it.
Learn the halachas of tzedakah so that you ensure you're doing the right.
Remember, diversification.
Not just for investments.
You only if you know that you have a good investment, you don't need to diversify. Same thing with the stock. You gotta know where to put it.
And also, if you diversify, you're going to tap into different evarim.
something to talk about. We have 613 mitzvahs.
Go for it. Let's
Now,
conquer. Let's try to conquer.
So David HaMelech came along and he stood them on 11 mitzvahs. Everyone nowadays is into instant coffee, instant this, instant that. David, he said, I could take all the 613 mitzvahs and put it into 11 mitzvahs. Now, this itself requires a proper explanation.
It didn't say mitzvahs. It said al achas esrei.
Look at the Rivan over here for a second.
Let's look at the Rivan.
Before we jump to...
Let's get into the Rivan.
Alright.
Yeah,
you want to go?
No, you go.
Originally, talking about thousands of years ago, they were tzaddikim, they were able to accept upon themselves the yoke of many mitzvahs.
What's the yoke? What is a yoke?
Yoke means like this. There's a Gemara in Rosh Hashanah Kaf Ches. It says, mitzvahs lav lehenois nitna. Mitzvahs were, the primary purpose is not to give us pleasure, el yos olu al savareim, to be a yoke on our neck. Now some mitzvahs are pleasurable. Right?
So how is it a yoke?
It's Oinik Shabbos. Who doesn't like eating
Yeah, it's
meat?
delicious.
Right?
That's not a yoke.
In general, the primary purpose of mitzvahs is to be a yoke. We have to do it because we're commanded. And when we eat that food, we shouldn't just eat it to indulge in the physicalities. We should do it because we know it'll give us strength to learn Torah and do other mitzvahs, and we'll connect to Hashem better that way.
So you're saying mitzvahs is just
for the
less
right
than
reason.
doing the mitzvah is less than half of it. Kavanah is
an integral part. There's a line I just got reminded of it. I saw Rav Yosef in the Shas Shuvah Sibiyom brought up. It's brought in many places. It says the tefillah beloy kavana kil gof beloy neshama. Think about that. Person davens, he spaces out the whole time. It's like a body without a soul.
It's like a fruit of the outer part of a fruit without the inner. I just saw yesterday in that.
That's a nice idea also. It's like you got the peel for the apple, so you don't got the...
There's no substance.
To be good also. Peel happens to be good. Yeah. Anyways, continuing to read in the Rivan. Aval doiros ha'achroinim. But the later generations, this is talking about hundreds and hundreds of years ago, for sure nowadays this would apply. Well, hayu sadikim kol kach. They weren't as pious, as righteous. No one would.
Why is that not lashon hara? I always wondered.
It's stating the facts.
So facts are could be.
The question is, what does this Rivan mean? When he says, if they came to guard all of them, they wouldn't. One could learn this Rivan properly. For sure, they were doing all the mitzvahs, but to properly perform a mitzvah.
How do you translate that? The imbo lishma.
That's how I translate it. And if they're going to come to guard all of them, there is not one person that would merit such a thing.
Maybe
I'm trying
they
to explain this Ramah, this Rivan. Don't say that they were keeping mitzvahs. Sure, they were keeping it, but there's different levels. There's obviously a qualitative difference between someone who's living in a 1-bedroom apartment versus a 15-bedroom house with 10 bathrooms sitting on 8 acres.
More than that. Talk about shmira. Someone's watching a pen of sheep. There's different types of shmira. Someone could have security alarms and keeping up, and then you have someone who's watching no, and then he's like dozing off with like one eye open.
Yeah, guys have to sleep, right?
Wake up, Rabbi Isai!
To properly perform it. You know, someone once asked the Rebbe, how is it that the Rebbe is always having all the high-level kavanas? Very simple. You learn the Sugyas and Gemara in depth, Rishonim, Achronim. You learn the Torah, Shulchan Aruch, the Rambam. You learn the Sfarim, HaKadosh, Musar, Chasidus. You learn Kabbalah. You learn the Agadata. And you learn it. Then I guarantee, anyone who follows that recipe, the mitzvah will be different that he does. Could be that's what the Rivan means. Uba David ve'emidin kadeshu yizku im yekaimu yural mitzvah. David simplified it, and he said at least think of it for these 11. Chen kol shah doiro shel mata holchim u'matan moisa. Constantly we are Yeridus hadoros. We're decreasing in our level. I'd like to just share off the bat the beginning of this. This is a class.
Wait, you finished the Rivan?
Yeah, that's the end.
I spaced out, sorry.
Yeah.
Uba David came, Vamidan, he stood up these 11, Kadesh Yisku im Kaimu, Yud mitzvahs, that if they were...
So that the merit...
if they were to keep the 11 mitzvahs, halal, they'll be praised.
Halal, these
11 mitzvahs. V'chein kol shah doyres shel mata, every subsequent dar, heichun matan, I say, they kept going down.
Decrease, yeah.
Okay.
The point is, the Marsha says, they're probably quoted somewhere on this. it's going to really apply to the end of this one. Bacha, Vakuk, Vehemidan Alachas. I don't want to ruin the ending, but Marsha basically says these 11 mitzvahs encompassed all the other mitzvahs. In other words, the 602 other mitzvahs, it was included in these 11. Fine. So, based on the Marsha's take. You see, this is an area of Torah which is Haggadah. Haggadah is not like regular Gemara. Regular Gemara, a person can learn it, think he has pshat in the Gemara, he doesn't really understand it, but he has the basic understanding of Haggadah. You don't learn it properly, you have no clue what's really going on.
And even if you do learn it properly, you don't always know what's going on.
No. If you learn it properly, you do know what's going on. If you read the words properly and translate them properly, you're not going to know what's going on. But if a person researches it properly and investigates and spends certain times, hours and hours, takes to properly understand Haggadah, that's the beauty of it, because the Torah, like the Pharisee says in others, only reveals itself to those who become familiar with it.
I'm trying.
I'm just saying.
I'm trying.
It's like anything. If you want to try to understand how a rocket ship could go to the moon, that's going to take you time to understand that. The information is going to be new. Person would need to study a lot of new terms and etc.
Watch a lot of videos.
Exactly. Watch a lot. Research it. It's the same thing with the Torah. The person can only comprehend it. The more he goes, the more he'll understand it. Like the Kala, the more the secrets will be revealed. That's what he says there.
What? Like the Kala?
A Kala. Yeah, a Kala. You meet a young lady, you're not going to get married out. It takes time. You have to get close, familiar. Then she'll reveal the secrets and all these things that she never shared with anyone. Okay. The Gemara continues and says, the pasuk comes along and says, Mizmor LeDavid miYorgabar Alecha miYishkon Bahar Kachech. This is all on Tehillim. You can look up these psukim.
Okay, so there's a psalm. Mizmor LeDavid.
That's a quote from 5 psukim basically in the beginning of Parak Vav in Tehillim, which consists of 11 mitzvahs, which the Gemara will take each one of those independently, isolate them, and analyze them. Okay? That's the conclusion. Now the Gemara will explain.
Let me just say it for those that actually want to know it in English. Hashem, who may sojourn...
We're going to get in English with the Gemara right now. The Gemara is going to go through each one.
We're going to go through each one, so settle down. We're going to get to each...
Except for the first line. The first line is Mizmor David, Psalm to David, Miyagabu Alecha, who's going to dwell in the tent. Mi Yishkoin, Bahar Kachecha, and who will dwell on your holy mountain.
You think those are 2 separate types of dwellings?
Yeah.
Like in terms of something you have to do in Yiddishkeit?
Yagur is more of
or is it just poetic?
Yagur is more of Yagur is more of a...
No, the tent versus the mountain.
First of all, to ask a question like that with the Gemara open, I would not be able to properly answer. I have to open the Mefarshim on Tehillim, take a look at the Mitzudas David, Mitzudas Sion, Rashi.
He wrote it with Ruach HaKodesh?
David? Yeah, David. Darshan, the Gemara Darshan.
Okay, let's do it.
We'd have to learn the Mefarshim probably too.
Okay.
Holich Tamim means a person goes complete. Who is that? That's Avram. Avram fulfilled the mitzvahs in a complete manner. The Chsev, as the Pasuk in Bereshit says, is Halich Lefana v'Yatamim. Walk in front of me and be complete. Okay? Meaning he passed all of his tests. Poyel Sedek. What does Poyel Sedek mean? He does righteousness. This means that he Kigoyin Abba Chilkiah. For example, Abba Chilkiah. What's the story with him? The Rivan over here doesn't relate the story, interestingly enough. However, the story is
Marsha.
A Gemara in Tainas Chav Gimel Manal.
And base.
It starts there. We discussed the depth of the story over there on the Tainas place. We went through the entire Masechta.
Yeah.
Every daf under a half hour, with additions and explanations, especially
RabbiBlond.com, also available on YouTube.
Only YouTube.
Only YouTube.
The story was like this. There's different ways to make money in this world, as you know. One of them is being an employee.
Kosher money.
Yeah. Now, Abba Chilkiyahu was an employee, and he didn't want to answer the people, Chachamim, when they greeted him. because he was a paid employee. He was paid by the hour. So he didn't want to interrupt from his work in order to answer them. So the obvious question is, it's only a second. We discussed that over there. Okay, he speaks truth in his heart. This is Rav Safra. Alright, this is the well-known story over here of Rav Safra. This is, you've heard it before, you've seen it before somewhere. Look at the Rivan over here, Rav Safra, whenever you're ready. The Shiltos de Rav Achai. You have the Shiltos de Rav Achai. The Netziv has a work, writings and the commentary on the Shiltos de Rav Achai.
Parshas Vayichin, no?
Yeah, yeah, correct. But when you look it up, Sheilah Salam and Vav says it's, I don't know if you ever looked up the Shiltos, but I have a few times. V'hachi hu uvda de Rav Safra. This is the story. Yeah, a certain item he was going to sell. Whatever the item is, it's irrelevant. Someone came to him. It happened to have been when he was reciting Shema. Now, we don't know how long it took Rav Safra to recite Shema. For most of us, it takes around 2 minutes. For someone like Rav Safra, it could very well take a half an hour. So it's more probable that he's in the middle of Shema when someone comes to him. Had proper pauses and interruptions, whatever it was. Very likely 5 minutes at least. And he said, give me such an item for such and such amount of money, and he stipulated the price. Rav Safra v'lo aneyu. He didn't answer. Because he was reciting Shema. Now the halachas of Shema, as we discussed in the past, based on the Gemara and Brachos,
can't talk.
Are stringent.
No hefsek.
Not only are you not allowed to talk,
no motion,
but we know from the Shulchan Aruch, it's in Samach Gimel, that you're not even allowed to wink. Okay, so gestures, it's a whole shiloh. Also, even giving stucker, you shouldn't be giving during Shema. You're not supposed to. Whatever, a whole discussion exactly about it. We discussed over there. Kisover is that this person thought
because you're taking the yoke.
You're being the Kabbalah Machushamayim.
Yeah, the yoke
of the heavenly king. Kisover is that. So the person who wanted to buy the item thought, Rav Safra, he didn't like the price. The price was too low. For Haisif, low bold price, so he added to the price. Omar Tanayuli B'kach Yosef. I'm going to double the price. He said, give it to me for this amount. Whatever it is, you up the price. You upped it. Right. Now really, the reason why he didn't do it is because he was Shema. The guy thought he was giving him, what do you call it when you don't speak to someone? What's that called? Not the cold shoulder. What's it called? You don't speak to someone. Whatever. Thought he wasn't engaging because the price was too low. So he jacked it up. After Rav Safra finished reciting Shema, he said, take the item from me, b'damim she'amarta b'rishona, from the first original price. Because that was what I had in my mind. I made it up mentally that I was going to give it to you. Imagine that.
Didn't have to do
Someone says, I'm going to buy your company from you for, you can't put a number, $100 million.
The guy doesn't.
You were in the middle of Shema.
No, the guy doesn't see the WhatsApp message.
Which one?
I'm saying the guy messages you.
Oh yeah, whatever. A message. You were in the middle of benching, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He comes up to you, he tells you you're ignoring you don't like the price. $250,000. The guy just upped the price, $150 million, and you walk away from the deal. You said no.
You said 250.
Yeah, 250. Original was 100.
Oh.
So
he upped it 150.
$250 million. Sorry, $250 million.
Yeah.
So he upped it $150 million. He says, sorry, I was benching. I really had in mind for 100 million. Imagine you walk away. You could have got $150 million. You say, no, I'm just being honest over here. That says the Gemara. Doiver emes b'levavo. He speaks truth in his heart.
That's a madrega.
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to paint the picture. Titain emes. Okay. It should be pointed out that if you're more interested in emes, the Sifsei Chaim has vadam on emes a lot, as well as the
Halachically, is it impermissible?
No, you can take it. This is what's called Lifnei Mishuras Hadin, above the letter of the law. The Gemara continues and says, Gemara says, Loi Ragil al-Shayna. It means similar. He didn't lie with his mouth. Ze Yaakov. Oh, this is Yaakov. Okay. What happened with Yaakov?
I don't know if it's lying. Oh yeah, it's lying.
This is actually talking about the episode, famous episode, that Yaakov's mother, okay,
Rivka Imenu.
said, tell your father, okay, tell your father, talking about the brachos, tell your father that you're Esav and take the brachos. Tell your father that. Say, hi, I'm Esav. But Yaakov didn't want to directly lie. And instead, Yaakov told his mother, Ulai Musheni Avi, his father might feel me. And I'm going to be in his eyes like someone who's joking around over here. It's not going to be good. Now, even though Mandy did this, it was against his will. Based on what he heard from Shemayim to do, because his mother Rivka said it with the prophecy. That's the story with Yitzchak. If you go through this episode in Chumash, learn through it with the Mefarshim, see it wasn't really a direct lie. There's a lot going on over there. The Mefarshim discuss the details. And the Rivan writes, Lo ratza l'sha af lo rogila l'shona lo ratza l'shekem etchil l'shamar liyamsheu elishem yirachichu ve'al pi adibur dechsiv alaykil le'asech beni v'margini alay yetamar b'navud l'iktibu l'fashish. She said, I'll take the curse. So Rivka said. Mar continues and says, Lo yasel l'reo ra. He didn't do to his friend bad. Shelo yaror l'umnus chaveru. He didn't go to his friend's profession. His business. This is talking about over here. This reminds me of the topic of Hasagas Gvul. You don't want to try to do something that someone else is being successful with. Find another business.
But if someone does that to you, just know that he cannot take business away from you. Only a Kadosh Baruch Hu controls business.
Right? Yeah, something to do.
But you can't push that on somebody else and tell someone else, oh, you should have bitachon. It doesn't work like that.
The Chazon he says
don't push your bein adam lamakim on someone's bein adam lachaver.
You know, in the business world out there, you go to the Baruch. You go to, what's the name of that business school? One of my friends went there.
Baruch.
The big one. One of the big dogs.
Hofstra?
The big business one.
Oh,
what's the name of that thing? You went there. Forgot the name because I don't care about the thing. But you went there. They teach you the same thing. Competition. You got to override your competition. Never help your competition.
What?
Denise says opposite.
What?
He says, you want to be successful in life and in business? Help. He's coming to you there, you just help him.
Because there's another power that controls the world.
Exactly.
Not.
Unbelievable idea.
Well, the same base
Look, it's
lady.
easier said than done. If I was a businessman, I went out to business, come on, would I really help my competitor?
I try.
Come on. It's easier said than done.
I try.
A lot of things we learn are easier said than done. You know?
By the way,
Yeah.
this idea that doing the opposite leads to better results.
Yeah.
I was in the Svarm store last year, and someone showed me a Beis Halevi on anti-Semitism, and he says, "You think that by assimilating, it's the best way to get goyim to find favor in the eyes of goyim, and they'll come to like you and treat you well. It's the opposite. The more you place a barrier, it doesn't mean don't help. Chas v'shalom. It means the more you stay true to your values and your roots, and you look different and you act different for Torah and for Kadosh Baruch Hu, the more it doesn't sound intuitive. The more they'll respect you and allow you to do what you need to do. But if you try to do the opposite, lo yaleinu, it has an ill effect, which is interesting because you wouldn't think that.
That's right. A lot of Torahs on that.
Basically, I think it's in like Mitzias Mitzrayim, something of that nature, when it's talking about in Egypt.
The Moshe goes fire and water. Water could put out fire.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's a pan in between, and there's water in a bowl, then the fire is gonna boil and override the water. So you gotta have that separation.
Gotta have the separation.
Gotta have. We'll talk about it.
Aish.
Yeah. The Mark continues and says. The shame wasn't on his close one, relative. He's talking about brings close the relative that he didn't want. He can't stand and just sit there quietly when someone close to him is going through. He's being shamed.
Marsha says it means
the shame. Look at
it means admonishing them and guiding them when they do wrong, preventing them from falling into evil ways.
That's another explanation.
The Rivan
that was the
says,
Rivan, the first one. Yeah. Look, a lot of this is a lot of depth, a lot of different explanations. Okay. She's talking about that someone who's despicable to Hashem, he will be disgraceful in his eyes. Zeh Chizkiyahu Melcho. This is Chizkiyahu, the king. Shegirer atzmois ovid b'mita shel chavalim. He dragged the bones of his dead father Achaz in a bed made out of ropes. Now, it wasn't out of silver and gold like would have been befitting for a king, because he was a wicked person who was involved with despicable idolatry. That's what the Rivan says. Hanimus l'kadosh baruch hu nizu be'einav sh'oz b'zach nizu be'einav haviv sh'nimus be'avodas b'chol. Shegir b'mita shel chavalim gemara hi v'lo yikra. Wow. The Rivan says this is a tradition. There's no pasuk for this. It's based on a Gemara in Pesachim and Vav. Also some nice I got it over there. So Gemara continues and says, "This year Hashem mikaved zeh Yehoshaphat melech Yehuda. Those who fear Hashem will be honored." It's talking about Yehoshaphat, the king of Yehuda. The time when he would see a Talmud Chacham, he would stand up from his throne, hug him, and kiss him. The Koyr alone, he would say, "My father, Father, Avi, Avi, Rebbe, Rebbe, my Rebbe, my Rebbe, my master, my master." Wow. Can you imagine a king nowadays showing such honor? Any king in the world. Can you imagine that? Mary continues and says, yeah? No additions? Okay. Mary continues and says, the money he didn't give with interest. Filu ribis even ribis for goyim, which would be permissible from the Torah, midarais's mother. The reason why he didn't do that is that he wouldn't lend with interest even to Jewish people. That requires more research of Hilchos Ribis in and of itself. Gemara's Bab Metzia, Suki is fine. And the bribery on someone clean he didn't take. Meaning even bribery that he was allowed to take, he didn't take.
It's not even a bribe.
Yeah, you're allowed to. Keep going. Rabbi Yishmael ben Rabbi Yossi. For example, Rabbi Yishmael, the son of Rabbi Yossi, he had a field, and his sharecropper bought him a basket of fruit on the eve of every Shabbos. One time, the sharecropper came in on Thursday. And,
so you had to go to Bezdin on
you had to
Friday.
go to Bezdin, non-related matter.
And he was the judge.
Right, and he brought the fruit earlier. Rabbi Yishmael didn't want. He refused to receive it because it could be potential bribery, even though it was his own fruit. Mar Ksubas talks about a kofei. We're there. Then the Ksubas talks about the shoichad or yikach. Your shoichad, your ver divrei sadikim yisal. Einay sadikim yisal. Einay chachamim yisal divrei sadikim. That the bribery makes crooked the eyes of the wise people, and can mess up the eyes of the righteous people. That's why it's in Ksubas over there. Mara continues, and it says, Ksiv, Pasuk in Helen teaches us, Oisa Elu will yimut oilam. People do this will not wither forever. Shai Rabbi Gamliel Magiyala, Mikrazim Rabbi Gamliel would reach his Pasuk, you would cry. Amar, he would say, Man da'avid lo lekulahu. Only someone who does all these mitzvahs, hud lo yamud. That type of person will not wither. Achad min ayu, but someone who only performs one of these mitzvahs, yamud, he will surely wither. Question is, you allowed to? Okay, you got that. Amrullah, they told Rabbi Gamliel, he does all of these? He'd say, he looks at, he does this, and even one of them. Takes out the word kol. Emphasis on kol. Okay. If you're not going to say this explanation, another pasuk says, Asam Nami over there, someone who touches all of them, they're in the parsha, he will not become tamei. Only if you touch all of them will you become impure, but if you touch only one of them, will you not become impure? Can't say such a thing.
Doesn't say call.
Allah, rather must it not be saying just one of them. So to over here, just like over there with being impure one, so to over here, just one of them. You will not wither. Gemara continues with the reduction. Yeah.
Call means any of these. Okay.
Gemara continues with the reduction of mitzvahs. Uba Yeshayahu, later chronologically, Yeshayahu came along by Amidan al Sheikh. He says 6 mitzvahs. The pasuk says in Yeshaya, Heilich, Sedakos, V'dov Yeshari Mois, Betza, Shakois, Noyed, Kapov, Miten Moik, Bashecha, Roitim, Agzno Mishma, Dame Boitzim, Minam, and that's 6. Heilich, Sedakos, what does the pasuk mean in the beginning? He goes with justice. Zavram Avinu, being righteous. He's talking about Avram. The pasuk is, you know, I'm going to teach my children. Some actually say that you can learn chinuch from this pasuk, etc. Avram performed an act of kindness, and he directed his children to go on that path as well, to be involved with righteous acts such as tzedakah. So Heilich Tzedakos means. Continues to quote this pasuk. He says,
"Oh, is this the one that has all body parts?"
Let's see. What does that mean? He speaks in a straight manner. Someone who doesn't needle his friend publicly. He doesn't cause his friend to be pain publicly. It's always a good idea. How the Marshal learns it. The Gemara continues and says, Moyes bebetza, Shakos is talking about someone who hates, despises.
The Aruch LaNer says that you're not allowed to embarrass. You're not allowed to even embarrass your friend in private.
Yeah.
So what does it mean? It means
public,
in public, but you're not. No, you're not allowed. But you're not allowed to do it in private anyway.
Yeah.
So it says it means that you're supposed to admonish him, but yet you do it privately because you don't want to embarrass him. Not embarrassing him for the sake of embarrassing.
It's always, anytime you want to rebuke someone, Rambam writes in Hilchos Deis, you always do it privately. I don't even know why that's a milah.
The Ben Yehoyada says...
It's obvious. It's on the letter of the law.
Ben Yehoyada says another method of rebuking sinners without causing embarrassment is to direct rebuke towards a righteous person to whom it clearly does not apply. The sinner will hear the reproof and be aroused to mend his ways. The prophet alludes to this with the words V'doiver me sharim, which can be interpreted as he speaks from the Yesharim. Okay?
Okay. Rebuke nowadays usually doesn't work. No point of doing it.
Mois bevetza ma shakos.
Yeah. He's talking about
spurns extortionate profit.
Despicable to him stolen money. We're going, who's this referring to? To be Shmuel ben Elisha. Shmuel ben Elisha was actually Cohen.
Nacha Kofei Amit Beis and Ksubis.
If we look, if we actually look at the Rivan over here on the bottom right, because we're going to go to the left column momentarily. Shaloy Ratzalito La'atzmo Rachis, I guess. Oh, you didn't want to take the first shearings.
Where are you? The bottom right?
Yeah, the bottom right over there.
So it's oh, the second one. Okay.
Shaloy Ratzalito La'atzmo Rachis, I guess. He didn't want to take the first shearings over there. Shehevi loy Adam Echad Shabalad and Lafanav. Someone came in front of him for judgment and brought the first shearings. You don't want to take it. Rabbi Shmuel ben Elisha, even though he was a Kohen and fully entitled to that, nevertheless he didn't want to take it. He should have dummy. It could have been like a little bit of theft. Could have had a trace, a smell of something was going on over there that wasn't right. Again, the real estate of this is straight out of Ksubas Cafe, which the bribery gets discussed at length over there. Mar continues to quote, remember I learned it with my chavrusi.
Wouldn't he have not been able to take it anyway? Because it says
ninth child.
Whoa.
Yeah, what did you say?
Wouldn't Rabbi Shmuel not have been able to take it anyway because he came to be Ladon Lefanav?
Yeah, correct. Halachically, one could argue that, but he was
maybe it means something else.
No, that's what it means. He was allowed to because the
so you're saying I'm saying good. You're saying I'm saying good.
Yeah. But the mice was basically totally entitled to it.
Okay.
No, you're cap of mitzvah.
So you know what? Okay, fine. I'll find any kayan or if I ever need a case, and I'll bring it to him.
Okay. What are we talking? Talking about over here. No, you're cap of mitzvah b'shochet. Keep going to Rabbi Yishmael, Rabbi Yossi. Okay, what's it talking about Rabbi Yishmael, Rabbi Yossi? He's talking about similar case. He didn't want to take from the fruit of his field from the sharecropper who came in front of him for judgment. It looked like it was bribery. Looked like it. Okay. Oitem azna mishmo adamim. He seals his ears from what are we hearing? Blood delay. Shama bizibusul the super merabana v'shasik. He never listened if he heard something that was derogatory about a Talmud Chacham and just remained silent. Kigon, Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Shema, for example, Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Shema. In other words, if we hear something that we know is wrong, we can't just pretend like we didn't hear it. We've got to stand up and say, that is wrong. Rivan begins his commentary over here on the bottom right, and he's going to go to the top left. Uitem mazna mishmo has no chasuma. His ear was closed, or atuma, some say. The stuma was closed, b'davar zeh. Shlo yishma b'davar gnaidish. He never heard something disgusting, derogatory, and remained silent. V'hayim damim, which in shtika. Damim doesn't mean blood; it means to remain silent. Right? V'yidam. So the pasuk means oitem azam mishmo damim, to remain silent. There's the Rabbi Shimon. The Rivan continues on the top left column. The nafach riksha me'adoina de'echsi li'totel b'chalma. From our lie, had Yishmei b'lusa d'rusumar rabbanan v'loy machi k'v'mayli yama b'chayev ha'yer v'gel l'daktik b'chachluf k'chich l'kodesh baruch v'lav ha'loitzo ha'am shalim yichu. Someone have said it happened one time.
Oh, Rabbeinu Gershom's coming up. So we have Rashi, Rivan, and Rabbeinu Gershom. That's the
searching over here, yeah.
What's the
Gershom coming? The question is, why don't the Rivan wrap it up? The kasha isn't on Rashi. Say Rashi died. The Rivan also died. Everyone was dying over
or
here.
Or maybe he didn't have any more to write. It's mamish towards the end.
Towards the end, but he probably had what to say if he was writing a commentary up until now.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yes and no. Okay.
The case over here of Rabbi Shimon is that we have a tradition over here. After he died, his body remained intact.
Who?
Rabbi Shimon, except for one worm that was sticking out of his ear. So it was told to his wife in a dream. He was punished because one time he heard something negative, derogatory about Talmud Chacham and didn't rebuke properly.
Wow, what a matrig.
And Hashem alluded to this by having the one worm sticking out of his ear. Unbelievable level.
What to strive for, Rabbi Sai?
Yeah. Someone who closes his eyes from seeing dead. Okay, the Rabbi Chia Bar Abba. He's talking about Rabbi Chia Bar Abba. I'm Rabbi Chia Bar Abba, because what did he say? Talking about someone, he doesn't look at women when they are doing laundry on the riverbank. Yeah. Talking about the different explanations exactly how much is being exposed. Could be their knees were being exposed.
Yeah, by the riverbank.
The knees. I don't know. They use the word shok over here. Shok usually means thigh, but it could also sometimes it's translated as knees. The Rivan already disappears over here and doesn't say anything. I would like to give my own commentary over here. There's a Rashbam.
The Rivan shut his eyes.
The Rashbam Baba Basra and Nun Zayin Beis Dibar Maskul Lafi comments about this. The Gemara Baba Basra over there says this is only talking about if there wasn't a Darcha Achrina. There wasn't another way to go. If there's another way to go, you always go the regular way.
Don't put yourself in risk, though.
There's a Marsha in Barachos. I'll tell you off the daf. I don't know if they're going to quote it over there.
Marsha.
There's Marsha in Barachos. No, in Barachos.
No, it doesn't say. It just says Marsha.
There's also a Taisvus in Barachos. I don't know if it says it over there. It's going to be in the 9th parak. We discussed this when we did a deep dive on the Mishnah and Avos first parak with the Bachram over here. Al Tarba Sichi Meisha. Not to converse too much with women. Be'ishto Amru. Said this about one's own wife. Kal v'chomer be'ishas chaveru. Certainly someone else's wife. Then the Mishnah over there proceeds to continue. And anyone who does speak Marba. Tarba Sicha. It's Marba Sicha. Anyone who does so, it's Bittul Torah, he's Goyim Ra'al Atzmo, he's going to cause bad to himself, it's Bittul Torah, and not good things. Which we talked about in the first part. We did a deep dive on that. We talked about women in general, dating not to get married. A lot of very interesting topics over there. If it's mutter, according to Allah, someone has relation too. So there's an explanation over there. This is talking about someone who regularly does this. Right? That's what we're talking about. Regularly doing it, that's going to be the issue, but you have to realize that in the summertime, this is something to think about over here. Make sure not to go in the wrong directions. You see people that have no shame. It's the culture. It's the culture. Look, how could you go to a playground? How could you go to a zoo? Just trying to entertain my 5 kids over here. Under 6. Where are you going to go? Right? You got to be known. So, one thing that a person has to realize is the difference between Riyah and Histakos. Let's just start with that. Okay? Gemara talks, the Sefer Shomer Hamudim says someone who sees a sight that he's not supposed to look at, and when he sees that sight, he looks the other way. He doesn't continue looking. He could daven for whatever he wants at that moment, and he'll get an answer. In other words, the difference between Riyah and Histakos. Riyah, the Gemara talks about. Gemara says anyone who's mistakel be'etzba ketana, woman, you go to Chase Bank, whatever, you need cash to pay a worker. You're watching her count the money. She puts it in the machine, but you're watching her fingers and you get pleasure from it. That's the problem. That's someone who's stakels, gazing, staring. Person's quickly looking at it. Person saw something he shouldn't, and then he looks the other way. That's what we're talking about. Other way. So, what we're talking about over here. The person is putting himself in this situation. Why is he going there? Why is he going there? Plenty of places to go to. Nowadays, this certainly applies. With the push of a few buttons, a person can be in the worst places of the world. Worst places for a Jewish person to be. Be on the worst sites ever. That's what we're talking about. Not to go to those areas. The stakos. I'll share one last for Nisim Gon. Third parak of Brachos. If I'm not mistaken, the favor of Nisim Gon quotes Yerushalmi. He says, anyone who looks at the heel, foot of a woman, it's as if he looked in the area of the woman. Anyone who looks at the area of a woman, it's as if a person was with the woman intimately. What's the explanation? The explanation is all it takes one thing, the Yetzer Hara to come in, and the guy goes out. That's it. It goes crazy. All these fires throughout the world now. We already had Israel, California. Where are the other fires that we had? Spain we had recently. All over the
Canada.
Canada not having issues in Europe, and people are starting all over the Canadian fire. When the fires are small, they're very easy to put out. But once they get big, that's it. It's hard to put it out even nowadays. Something to think about over here. Not to go in those areas, summertime. Uksev, and the pasuk says, "Hu miroimim yishkan." Means person will merit a very high level. Be strong like a fortress, a bedrock, a big rock. And they'll provide him with wealth, with children.
In this felt and the next,
Get rewarded.
says Rabbeinu
Get
Bechaya.
rewarded a lot.
The Maral in Chidusha Agodos notes that each of these 6 requirements is performed by a different organ of the body. There's walking with the feet, speaking with the mouth, profit from the heart, because that's the man's desires, the hand from holding a bribe, seals his ears and shuts his eyes.
Yeah.
That's the all-encompassing, the entire gut.
People say that this is Muslim. I mean, I'm obviously adding a lot of my own, but
How else
even
are you
without
supposed to learn it?
This is even without that. Straight up, a person goes through this and sees what it is. This is Micha comes along. Micha later time. Behemidin al shalosh. And he said 3 mitzvahs. It all boils down to 3 mitzvahs. That's it. The pasuk.
By the way, Micha was a younger contemporary of Yeshaya, so although only a short time had elapsed since Yeshaya established the 6, the spiritual decline of the generation was so precipitous that Micha had to reduce the number of principles. See Baba Basra Yodalat on the base with Rashi.
Yeah. So he said, Higal l'chadam ma'toiv, ma'ashem darish. They're going to tell a person what's good, meaning what he should be doing, and what Hashem expects from you. Ki ma'aseh mishpat, do mishpat, justice. The Abbas Chesed, and love kindness, is one of the lesser known Sfarim of the Chafetz Chaim. He talks about the importance of kindness. Amazing sefer.
David Skolnick, my friend, just bought it.
Oh, you did? Yeah, it's good. V'hatznei leches, remember buying is easy, but v'hatznei leches himelokecha. And to go modestly with Hashem. This is where it comes from, sneas, modesty. Very important. Those are 3 mitzvahs that we're talking about. This encompasses, again, the Marsha, all of the other mitzvahs.
Is that staka, tefillah, and Torah?
We'll see right now. Also, it's mishpah. What are we talking about? Zehadin. Justice. This is talking about din. Meaning, what does it mean? We're not talking about a guy who's going to Beis Din. He's not going to a court over here. Person should weigh every single action before he does it, that it should be done properly.
Reasoning, human understanding.
Let's just remind ourselves. Ezehu Gibor. People know the statement. Ezehu Asher Shmeir B'chal. Yeah, very good. Everyone knows.
Aklevish es Yitzray.
Gibor. That's right. Much stronger with those guys. Yeah. With the muscles and all that stuff. Avas Chesed. What does that mean? To love kindness. Zeh Gimilus Chesed. Acts of kindness. A tremendous thing. So the question is, if Avi Amudim is, what's his coming day? We know that. Pasuk says, love kindness. You just told me it's acts of kindness. What's his coming day? They have an explanation there? I don't know what's coming day.
What, a Havas Chesed?
Wait. What's it ending? Havas Chesed is Gimilus Chasadim. What do you mean? Same exact thing.
It's the actual, not just loving it, it's the actions, the performing of it.
Performing? Okay. Hatzne left, that's what does that mean to be to go mad?
It says here, one expresses his love of kindness by actually performing the deeds.
Okay, you could say Havas Chesed also. Okay.
Achshavin Mais.
This is talking about you go to a Lavaya funeral, go to Chazana, and
that's what going discreetly with HaKadosh Baruch
Hu. It says in Koheles, Eisla this, Eisla that, time for this, time for that. It says in Koheles, long share in this 1 hour share, the beginning of Sefer Yeshua.
My Shah says you should do it quietly. Unassumingly.
If you have an option to go to a wedding or a funeral, go to the funeral. Go to the funeral.
Well, like Van Pabachaimer.
I have to pick it up from here. You can't go through. Mincha tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem, 645. We will resume.